Hi guys, the Metal Maniac back again, and in this video I'm going to be doing a review of the album Evil Metal by the band Voor, or Voor. I still don't know how to pronounce this band's name, anyway. Voor, or Voor, or however you pronounce it, is a thrash metal band from French Canada, Quebec, and this is a band that didn't last too long, but then actually recently, within the last couple of years, sort of made a comeback. Anyway, this is actually a compilation album. It features their first two demos. Both were released in 1985, I'm pretty sure. I'm just going to get into it. So before I get into the actual songs, I'm going to name off the band members really quick. And sorry if I get these names pronounced wrong. I'm not really good at pronouncing names, especially last names. Martin Pelote on vocals. Serge Perrin on rhythm guitar. Sullivan Gilbert on lead guitar. Steve Lessard on bass, and Harold Lepage on drums. Alright, so side A is the first demo, and side B is the second demo. Alright, so for the first demo, side A, it starts off with the song Evil Metal, which is the title track of the compilation album. Yeah, really great song to start off the demo with. Super aggressive, super abrasive, really good riff. The solo is pretty good, although it's probably not one of my more favorites from this band, but still really, really good. And then the vocals are awesome as well. The vocal style is pretty much similar. Oh, sorry if there's like beams of light shining right here. I have my window. I have my shades open, and the sun is setting, and the sun's just beaming down on this area of my room. Anyway, the vocal styles. The vocal style is pretty much very similar to other bands of this type of music, like kind of like Kronos from Venom and some other sort of harsher thrash metal vocals, that kind of thing. They sort of have like a growl shout to them, but not like death metal. More like the kind you would hear in like slightly more aggressive thrash metal. Hold on, I'm gonna close the shades here. The light's getting in my face. Alright, much better. Anyway, yeah, Evil Metal, great song. Next up is the song called In the Hell. This one probably has my first or second, I can't decide right now, but either my first or second favorite riff off the entire album. It's just a very catchy riff. With a great solo, and yeah, just another great song. Next up is my favorite song on here, Creatures of War. This has a really cool, very subtle, but at the same time very epic sounding riff. And it's not even like the guitar that makes the riff sound really good. Oddly enough, with this song in particular, the bass. The bass riff combined with the guitar riff together makes a really cool, very sort of like, what was I gonna say? It makes a very cool sound. Like, it's very subtly epic kind of thing, where it's not like in your face or like out there kind of epic, but it's like it's done in a very subtle but also at the same time noticeable way. I can't really describe it any other way than that. With my favorite guitar solo on the entire album. Just very cool, very kind of melodic as well. But yeah, just an amazing song. Next up is a song called No Title. Yeah, this song doesn't have a title. It's just they just call it No Title. Another great song with another awesome guitar solo and riff, and yeah, just another great song. Next up is a cover of the Venom song Bloodlust, which is my favorite Venom song. So yeah, this is a fantastic cover. Um, the vocals are a little bit off rhythm. Off rhythm. They're not quite in rhythm, in sync with in the rhythm of the um was it riff? Sorry, I'm messing up my words today. But yeah, they're not quite in sync with the rhythm of the overall song, like in the actual Venom song. But they're still very well done, despite that. And yeah, it's just a very good cover of the song Bloodlust. And then lastly, for side A and ending the first demo, is another cover song. And that is a cover of the Slayer song Cryonics, which is one of my favorite Slayer songs. Um, Another fantastic cover. Um, this one is also very close to the original version, other than maybe the guitar tone not quite being the right tone. Especially around the solo, the two-part solo. Although I think, if I remember correctly, the first demo only had one guitarist instead of two. And you could definitely tell with the solo, the two-part solo, or the supposed two-part, or I guess in this case, the supposed two-part solo to the song Cryonics, because the way the solo is, it's made to sound like it's a two-part solo, like in the original Slayer song, but you could very much tell there's no break in between, so it is definitely just one guitarist. And even though there's two guitarists credited on the credits, like I said, I'm pretty sure there was only one guitarist at the time of the first demo, compared to the second demo, which I'll get to, which is on side B. But even then, with the solo obviously being done by one guitarist instead of two, and also not quite at the right sort of not tempo, but not quite at the right tuning. It's still a very good cover of the Slayer song, and again, it's one of my favorite Slayer songs. So yeah, I love it. Um, Next up is side B, and this is the second demo, which I think was also released in the same year, 1985. I don't think I said that, but yeah, both demos I think were released in 1985. I might be wrong about that. I remember looking up somewhere that one of the demos was 86 and one is 85, but also I also remember seeing that they were both the same year. I don't know which is true and which is incorrect. But anyway, so side B starts off with the same thing that started off side A, Evil Metal. And yeah, like I said, a great song. Next up is another version of In the Hell. I'm not gonna say I'm not saying my full thoughts because I already did. Yeah, the second demo almost is a complete repeat of the first one. And then of course the song No Title. The only difference is that there's no cover songs of Bloodlust and Cryonics. Creatures of War is not on the second half. Sorry, not on the second demo. And there's only one different song, and that's the song Like a Snake, which is really, really good. Probably the only standout on side B / the second demo. So before I get my final thoughts on my verdict, I just want to show off the artwork and all the extra stuff really quickly because there's an extra little thing that comes with it. Anyway, so the artwork is very much sort of an homage to the artwork for the Venom album Black Metal. Even the title Evil Metal is sort of an homage to this title Black Metal. You can see it's pretty much the same layout of like the devil face on a black background. The name of the band up top here, and the name of the album, two part name, just a two-word name of the album, each on this side, and in this exact same font as in the Venom second Venom album, Black Metal. Um, and Yeah, just a really cool sort of homage with the artwork here. Yeah, just a really cool. I also really like this. It's very simplistic, like very simplistic, but it's just done so well. I also like the font that their logo's in. Very cool and unique. I've never really seen anything like it before. And then on the back, you get the track listing for each side. The first demo is side A, the second demo is side B. You get the credits of the band members as well as a picture of the band members. And then you get a little bit of information, basically, just credits, and then like, of course, it says, side A is the first demo, side B is the second demo. And then, just other credits down there. Yeah. Oh, I almost forgot. There's a hype sticker on the front, but I think the advertisers were a bit confused. Which I'll actually get to that after I show the rest of the thing in my final thoughts, because it does go into, I want to talk about a little bit about the musical style on this album. Anyway, so before I get to all that, there's an insert here. Hold on. There's no lyrics. There's no lyric sheet or anything, which is kind of a bummer. But you do get this awesome insert, which one of the sides is basically a picture of the band live, or at least two of the band members. It's probably a very zoomed in picture, very blurry, but yeah. And then the other side is, I believe, an interview with one of the band members. Yeah, it's an interview with one of the band members. And then on the other half of this, you get, pictures of the two demos. There's the first demo, and then there's the second demo, as well as the track listings to that, and the band member lineups on each one. Oh, I was right. Both were released in '85. The reason why I was confused is because the first time I heard these demos were separate, not on this compilation album. There were separate uploads on YouTube, and even though the person who uploaded the first one got the date of 1985, which is correct, there was a different upload by a completely different person that uploaded audio of the second demo, but labeled it as the release date of 1986. Yeah, I guess they were wrong. Both were from '85. Anyway, so my thoughts on this band. Their early stuff, like their first two demos, for the most part, like the first demo is my favorite thing this band's ever released. The second demo is a bit weak. Honestly, not as like, I wouldn't say it's boring. I'd say probably their comeback releases are boring. Like, they have a first full-length album that was released a few years ago, as well as an EP that was I think released like maybe only 2 or 3 years ago. Both have a slightly different style. They're a bit more mainstream sounding, a bit more mainstream thrash metal sounding, or I should say more mainstream modern thrash metal sounding. Because there is a difference between old mainstream, thrash metal and new mainstream thrash metal. But yeah, the first demo, and the second demo as well, have the old school thrash metal style, but it's a little bit more of the heavy thrash metal, the slightly heavier stuff, coming out in, the mid to late 80s. And the style is sort of a mix of, thrash, like, the, thrash metal kind of thing that was like, I think the best example to describe this band is a mix of early Slayer and early Venom. And those were definitely the main two influences. Those two bands definitely were the main two influences in their musical style. Even down to the vocals. Like, the vocals are very Kronos inspired. The musicality is, again, a mix of maybe the first Slayer album and maybe Haunting the Chapel as well, and the first two Venom albums. You know, those musical styles combined, because you have the raw roughness and just sort of like almost punk-ish, heavy metal punkish edge of, you know, the first two Venom albums, mixed with the more like more sort of like a new wave of British heavy metal inspired melodic sort of thrash of the first Slayer album. And it's just a very good combination of sounds to make almost a very unique sound as well. Like, you get an already unique sound with the early Venom stuff and an already unique sound with the first, you know, Slayer album, and combine the two to make something even more unique. So as for my rating, I'm probably gonna give this an 8.8 out of 10. My only complaints with the second demo, side B. The fact I'm not complaining that the fact that it repeats mostly, because a lot of, you know, bands have, at least there's a lot of bands back in the day that had repeating songs on multiple demos, so it's not really an odd thing. It's pretty common. But my main complaint is the fact that the audio on side B, on the second demo, is actually inferior to the audio on the first demo. Basically, the sound mixing is very off. Like, with the first demo, it's pretty level. You know, it has a good equal leveling of the audio of the vocals and the instrumentation, and in the overall mixing. Whereas the audio on the second demo is very off kilter. Like, the vocals are very high in the mix on the second demo, but the instruments are very low and in the back of the mix, to the point where they're almost completely drowned out, and you could almost only hear the vocals. It's a very not properly mixed demo compared to the first one. But when it does, on certain songs, like, for example, the song Like a Snake and maybe one of the other songs, and like two songs in particular, the mixing is actually pretty decent, but for the most part, it's not. But like I said, even though there's one song on here that I really, really love and the rest are repeats, I mainly got this compilation for the first demo, because the first demo is just amazing. And this is really the only option you could get this demo now, unless you want to pay big money for an original cassette, which I'm pretty sure most people would want to pay like a ton of money for an original, especially when you could get sort of I think this is a little bit remastered. I think it's remastered, or maybe it's just, you know, a newer source tape. But yeah. Oh, I almost forgot to mention. I said I'd come back to it later. I almost forgot about it. The advertisers are kind of confused. And what I mean about that is, here, I'll read this. Voor Evil Metal. Voor is among the many bands that emerged in the 1980s underground. In 1985, they recorded a rehearsal tape and a studio demo, which technically they're both demos. They're both titled as demos, so they're both demos. At least according to the band, they're both demos. And this is where the confusion starts to get into the in terms of the advertisers being confused. And then it says, and then they promptly faded into obscurity. This LP contains both recordings, 11 tracks of speeding and destructive black metal. Recommended for fans of Bathory, Venom, and Sacrifice. This is not black metal, not even first wave black metal. Like, first wave black metal, but that's a stretch. This is just purely thrash metal. Yeah, sure, one of the bands they were inspired by is definitely Venom, and Venom definitely is part of the first wave of black metal. But this, I don't know. I just don't think the correlation is there enough to where this can be considered black metal. Again, even I don't think it even can be considered first wave black metal. It is very much thrash. And even though it's a heavier thrash and stuff like that, I don't know. It feels like the advertisers were a bit confused on what was black metal and what was thrash metal or something like that. Because the recommendations on here are a bit mixed in terms of the bands about what similar sounding bands. This sounds nothing like the band Sacrifice, and nothing like the band Bathory. And even Bathory has that early first album, but even then doesn't really sound anything like this band. So I don't know what the advertisers were thinking, but they clearly don't know what they're talking about. Anyway. But yeah, an 8.8 out of 10. Definitely a must listen, especially for the first demo on side A. Yeah. Alright, so that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.